Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. Next one is Jake from guess where?
St. Louis?
State Farm.
Let's see.
Hey, what's up, Mac and Breeze and Robert? This is what I sound like when I make fun of people, McCall. Or for short, we can just go with Robert McCall. Hey, so last podcast, Eric, I heard you wistfully ask when some other Jake called in, is that Jake from St. Louis? Oh, please. Gee, I hope so. So I figured I'd give you guys a call.
Oh, gee, I hope so.
So right now my game's kind of plateaued, and my question
Maybe
is,
because you make fun of
what do you
people?
guys do to break through your plateaus? My
call
recent approach has
podcasts.
kind of been like, just go out and work on whatever was costing me strokes in the last round. But I feel like that kind of has me running in circles, in that I kind of hammer down one part of my game, and then I feel like the next round there's some other part that's out of whack. So I guess you guys try and really develop your strengths so that you have amazing strengths and that mask your weaknesses, or do you try and develop your weaknesses so that you kind of have a more well-rounded game? Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, especially you, Robert McCall, so that because I know you're trying to do that exact same thing right now. So yeah, let me know, and yeah, thanks guys. Bye.
Cool. That's probably the best nickname I've gotten so far.
I have no weaknesses.
Yeah. Turns out I
That
throw every
turns out,
shot
yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
That is my weakness.
Wow.
I have no weakness.
That's right. I work too hard.
Yeah.
I care too
work too
much.
much.
I care too much.
So for me,
Center stage, Robert. Go for it.
Yeah, I get to talk about disc golf. For me, when I'm working on things that I'm not great at, I like to.
Which there's a
all
laundry
day.
list of these things.
By the way, there's a lot. I like to. For me, I don't really focus in on one necessarily at a time. If I think I'm really insufficient in, say, throwing anhysers or something, which I really struggle with. I can throw anhysers fine, but I don't have a consistent release on them every single time. So when I'm having trouble with that, I will go out to the field with my discs and throw a lot of flat shots, and then I'll try and take my body angle from straight up for a flat shot to where I'd normally tip it over toward the ground for a hyzer, work on getting my body angle a little bit farther back for an anhyzer. And so I just go out and do field work when I'm trying to get over a plateau. Now, having that said, I always am just looking for ways to play to my strengths when I play a disc golf course. So for me, I throw putters pretty well, a lot on straight lines. I think I can control that disc really well. Yeah, just straight lines in general and hyzers. I'm pretty good at both of those things. And so when I'm working on, when I'm looking at a course and trying to figure something out, if I see maybe there's an anhyzer line or maybe there's a forehand, if I'm not feeling confident with my anhyzer, I won't worry about throwing the anhyzer. I'll just throw the forehand or vice versa. So for me, when I'm working to get over plateaus, I go to the field and I do field work. But when I'm trying to attack a new course, I play to my strengths. If there's a straight line to be had, I'm throwing the straight line. If there's a hyzer to be had, I'm throwing a hyzer. A lot of times with a putter for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't.
I never have plateaus. I've gotten better since I started playing.
I
Don't know if you heard about me. I won a Worlds. It's not a big deal.
I've had plenty of plateaus in my career.
For sure.
Plenty. And I honestly, what's helped me fight through those is time off.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Is not just going out and forcing something, trying to continuously throwing in a field is great, but if you're doing bad habits, that's not a good thing.
Correct.
To continue that process. So I'll take a week or so off, and I have actually noticed anytime I go out of town and then I come back home and play my home courses, typically I kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Or take some time off, I come back. It's kind of like muscle memory, like riding a bike, so to speak. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if it's you miss it or what it is, but you're not thinking a whole lot. You're just going out there, maybe even thinking, well, I haven't played in a while. I'm probably not going to play that great. But for some reason that's really helped me fight through some things in the past.
Absolutely. And if part of the reason that you're at a plateau is that you just feel exhausted, like you've worked on the same thing for a long time, that's a fantastic idea. Take a week or two off. And when you come back, it's just like you said, muscle memory, but also you're not thinking about it as much. You're just ready to go play. Like
you're just throwing shots.
Yeah, you get the itch. You know what I'm talking about when you haven't played for a minute and you're like, dude, I want to go play. I have to go throw today. When it's like that, you're not really concerned about, oh, I'm throwing my Anheuser's poorly today.
Yeah.
You're just like, dude, I get to play disc golf. This is awesome. So,
Bobby, what do you do during plateaus?
I don't play enough to have a plateau.
Bobby's life is a plateau.
Let me ask you this, though.
But in disc golf, not in professional.
So there's two different schools of thought here. And you kind of alluded to it on it, both you guys. But so there's one school of thought that says look at your weaknesses and work on your weaknesses and make your weaknesses become your strengths. And then there's another school of thought that says
Stick to your strengths.
stick to your strengths. Is it just? I mean, is it just a matter of what works best for you? I guess
Depends on how strong your strengths are, I guess,
And how strong your weaknesses are.
or how weak your weaknesses are.
Right.
Yeah.
So to answer that,
or how strong your
Weaknesses.
breath is? I don't know.
yeah,
I couldn't think of anything.
that's okay. So for me, I struggle with Anheuser sometimes, but that doesn't mean I just can't throw them, right? So when I plateau on those, it's that I'm not hitting my line exactly how I want to. But when I miss those shots, I'm not missing by like 100 feet, you know? And most of the time I'm missing by 30 or 40 or
Except
something.
last week when we went and played.
Yeah,
That Anheuser you tried to throw on hole 3,
which is hole 3.
the big long one that you really missed by more than 100 feet.
Oh, well. But that's when you're trying to throw super hard. That's
Yeah,
silly.
Valid point.
But what I'm getting at is if you are only good at one thing in its Heisers and you're really terrible at everything else, like you can't throw a straight shot and you can't throw an Anheuser, you can't putt well, you can't throw a forehand, then I would say for sure work on your weaknesses. Put a lot of time in on those. However, if you are pretty proficient at most things and just better at a couple of things, keep those things in mind. And if you're good enough at those, you can play most every course. Especially if those are like throwing straight lines and and putting. You're going to play pretty well wherever you go. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Like you said, it kind of depends on how strong your weakness is. If it's something that you're just completely awful at, then yes, you absolutely should work on that.
Especially if it's putting.
Especially when it is putting.
Yep.
To me, putting, approaching, driving. Those are the three in that order that you need to work on. If you have a strong putt, work on the upshot. If you have a really bad putt but a great upshot, I mean that's really not as bad as having, a horrible upshot, horrible putt. So
Right.
For me, I think working on putting and approaching is two of the most important parts of the game.
Yep.
Very cool.